at Georgia Tech. I just finished up my very first internship ever. So a little bit about me, I'm 19 years old and I attend the Georgia Institute of Technology and my major is computer science, hence the hello world in the title. So there was a lot of time, as you know, 9-to-5 schedule. I had a lot of time on my hands to reflect and think on what I learned, and I thought I would share this all with you guys. So let's get started. So this is the first industry experience I had. Obviously, I had only been in school, so it's a huge and really complicated shift to go from like moving around in between classes to having a complete 9-to-5 schedule where you're in a solid like gray prism. Your first internship will be all about taking initiative. As a student, your initiative consists of either learning ahead of time, studying harder, or figuring out a set of problems and learning how to do it all on your own and not giving up until you figure it out. However, corporate's a little different. With corporate, you have to meet these deadlines. If you are stuck on a point, instead of spending a lot of time marinating on a topic, you need to be the one asking questions to other people. It's not gonna be your typical 4 to 5 like high school or middle school project where one person works on like graphic design, you're in the code. Sometimes it'll be as big as 20 people working on the same code base, so you need to make sure that whatever you're doing is getting pushed correctly. You're asking the right questions and you're making sure you make things convenient for everyone else. Dealing with team members being busy was a huge struggle. I personally was on a very cutting edge technology kind of project and I had to make sure that everything was being pushed on time. With that being said, everyone on my team was always busy and it was really hard to tell them like, hey, like I have a question, like can you help me out? This was a huge struggle for me. I don't consider myself to be a shy person, but I found that I felt like I was being an annoying person, like constantly pinging people and asking like, hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? But we need to all get over this because if we don't ask questions and we get shy or feel intimidated, we end up holding ourselves back. It is the job of the person who is in charge of this internship program to make sure you get your questions answered. One of the things I got better at was booking meeting rooms, having sync-ups, going directly to offices. This would be something that was very easy to do in high school because everyone seemed accessible, but you're gonna be dealing with so many different personalities and you're gonna wonder if this is proper business etiquette, but communication is key. And I found that my work efficiency completely accelerated as soon as I got on the ball with, forcing people to come and meet up with me, and they appreciate it too. With that being said, I talked about what I improved on. What I did well was taking weekly notes. This is very important to do. For instance, if I was in a lab with somebody that I knew and I had my laptop pulled up, everything they would say, I would quickly note it down to make sure that I knew what terms they were talking about. Even though I didn't understand it, it was good to have documentation. It shows the manager or your superior other that you're very involved with what they're talking about. And at the same time, anytime something was asked of me to pull up information from the past, or if someone else didn't remember something, I had all that proper documentation on hand with me so that I made things convenient for everyone and I knew what I was doing all of the time. There is no rubric for work. You pretty much have to set yourself deadlines and you'll know when you've really messed up or done really well because it'll affect the whole entire team. This is something I wish I had known way beforehand. I wish I had been the one setting up weekly deadlines because I would just have major ones that I would try to tackle and they would get really overwhelming if things weren't coming together, especially if I didn't have the chance to meet with somebody. In fact, there was an incident where I happened to run into my manager in the lab and that's when I asked him about a deadline, and only then did I find out that there was a deadline that was coming up. So be sure to give yourself deadlines and if possible, try to work ahead and look for the next task. If you do find yourself stuck in a position where you've tried all of these things and things aren't working out or you're kind of in a black hole, you're in the dark, please go and reach out to HR or your recruiters because that is not okay. Although this is an internship experience and you are also benefiting the company by using their tools and getting accustomed to it, it's supposed to be an enriching experience for you. You are giving up your time in the summer to go help them out. And if you're not learning, you need to let somebody know. Everything I learned in my classes that talked about commenting code, utilizing Java docs, or proper spacing, I thought those were just really nitpicky things that my professor told me to just like easily take the points off. No, it's very important to be doing all of these things in the workspace because I personally ran into a lot of trouble if people didn't properly comment code and tell me what was going on in that block. Or if there was a line of code that would extend on forever and I had to keep going, that slows things down. I mean, the little few seconds add up a whole lot. So that is something to make sure to look out for. Attend meetings. Even though you don't understand anything at all, look on the bright side anyway. There is nothing but goodness coming out of the fact that you show people on your team how involved you are. When you attend meetings, you may not learn about something directly applicable to your exact assignment, but you'll be able to figure out what's generally going on in the flow of your department, where things are headed. And just for your sake, that's important to keep documentation of, and also reporting to people around you will let them know if you need any more help, and it's your chance to be vocal. Go to networking events. So I personally went to a summit that was held for women, and that had a lot of fruitful labor for me, because the things that your internship will provide, because you're an intern, will be networking events, women's summit events, conferences, speaker series, social events, demo day presentations, research presentations, and hackathons. Use this opportunity to be able to connect with those around you and be vocal about what you're passionate about. If you are very vocal in that right space, you don't know what opportunity could come your way, because when you voice your passions and you're very confident, people naturally are drawn to you and are willing to give you opportunity. Now, let's say your internship was a total bust. It's really unfortunate that that would happen, but it's possible. The most important thing is how you react to that situation. If you don't want a return offer, you're thinking, oh, well, screw it, I don't really need to behave well, who cares anyway? The manager is still responsible to give you your performance evaluation. Whether you think that went well or not, it is a really good idea to always end things on a good note. Maybe something like syncing up for 5 minutes with somebody after office hours and telling them, hey, these were my pain points, this is what I learned. That gives you the opportunity to not only earn respect from those around you, but it also just shows how mature you are, not only to your manager. You're answering to yourself, what did I do this summer? Instead of, ghosting out of a company. Unfortunately, in my experience, I did try to do the same exact thing. However, I got an automatic reply saying that my manager was out of the office, even though he knew when my last day was. So in case that doesn't work out, just know that if you tried, that's all that matters. Just be thankful for the opportunity that you have gotten. There are several other people that would have loved to be in your position, and you did technically learn something, whether it's a technical skill, whether it's corporate skill, whether it's people skill. And there are people that made this opportunity possible, so be sure to appreciate that. That being said, this is an internship and not a full-time position yet, so you should be having fun. Although this is a growing experience, it needs to be an exciting one for you. So it's important, especially after working 8 hours straight, to be able to decompress and enjoy time to yourself. I was very blessed because I was in San Diego and there was a lot of attractions for me to see, but with that, I still experienced a lot of emotional ups and downs. Distance away from those you truly love can be a huge problem. I found myself in a situation where the roommate I had was absolutely amazing, but it's not like she was able to be there with me the whole entire time, and I was totally out of my comfort zone. I mean, I found myself crying for the first 2 weeks and feeling really upset, and I was in social situations where the friends I was around made me feel like if I wasn't attending every social event with hundreds of people there, I fell behind. So I always had to make the effort in order to be cool, and I wasn't really about that life, so I ended up leaving it. And I don't really feel like friendship should be about chasing one person. It should be mutual. I stuck to being myself, and I realized, why not? If I am myself, I'll attract like-minded people. I am glad I did this because I have made so many amazing friends that I think will last a lifetime. It may seem extremely difficult at first, but you can take comfort in the fact knowing that there is going to be an end date. And you can mark it on your calendar and just count the number of days that you have left. But even though you might have a good experience or a really bad one, try to ignore the end date first and realize that this is an opportunity to grow. This exact chance will not happen again, so use this time to reflect on yourself, reflect how you are as a developer or a designer or any kind of manager that you may be. Congratulate yourself on adulting. This is such a huge deal. I mean, dealing with things like taxes or seeing, these adult words for the first time were really exciting to me. I can't believe it personally happened to me because a lot of the times I still act or feel like I'm very, very young. young. So it's a nice step into adulthood. Make peace with your environment. For me personally, I spent a lot of time indoors in the beginning and I was sulking around, but what good was it that I was placed in San Diego if I didn't go outside and enjoy what the city had to offer? I got really involved with things like Groupon and Facebook events to find like coupons for things around my area. You need to do your research. You want to be able to absorb the culture of the people around you. You know, what kind of foods they eat, like what are the attractions? That kind of stuff can really help your mental health out, because if you can't keep yourself happy, the ugly truth is no one else will be able to. Everyone is really absorbed in their own culture, and sometimes computer science can get cutthroat. So it's up to you to make sure that you're making the most of the environment you're in. My first internship is at corporate, and it's totally different from what I expected. Now that could be like a company thing, or it could be just your own singular team type of thing, but it made me realize that I want to explore different options. It's okay if the very first experience isn't just right for you, but that's the beauty of it. You're young, you're a hot item to companies because you're fresh out of college, you're pretty much going to be working for lower pay, and you're going to be willing to hustle. So use this time to explore and figure out what you like. Personally, for me, I know that I might want to try a startup next time, or maybe a growing company. I also learned about what I value in a company. I really value great mentorship. The only successes I remember being so well highlighted in my life were because of the most excellent teachers that I had, and they're the people I still think about to this day, even if it's been 10 plus years. And that's something I'm glad that I know. Usually everyone hypes up being in California, which is where I was. I mean, it could be any location. People hear the name, they hear the salary, they hear the team project, and it sounds really hyped up. But no one really talks about the day-to-day culture environment, because everyone on Snapchat is gonna have like, ooh, I'm at the beach, I'm hanging out at the clubs. Well, that's after the fact. You wanna make sure that the time where you're supposed to grow and learn is also meaningful to you. Don't disregard that. It's not all about like the name, the fashion that a company or brand might have. But that's it for my very first vlog. With this channel, I'm really hoping to reach out to people out there and be like an educational voice, or use all of my experience to kind of help you guys out. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel for more adventures. Thank you, bye.